Hey, everybody, welcome to Investing in Cannabis. I'm your host, Brandon David. As always, welcome to another fun, fact filled episode. Spring Big. We have Jeff, the CEO, on. It's really a fascinating, what I'll call a case study. If you're a student of business, especially a student of cannabis business, which if you watch this show, you probably are, it is a fascinating case study because they were very, very similar to Baker, which is another show that has been on this show before. And Baker chose to go the public route and join Tilt. SpringBig did not. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. I think it's maybe a year plus since that went down, and SpringBig is doing very, very well. They're, of course, a loyalty and engagement platform for dispensaries, for brands. So it's kind of a mass texting, mass engagement type platform. Very similar, again, to what Baker does, but two very different financing routes. Fascinating, fascinating case study. Thanks for joining us. You can put anything you want in your ears, and you chose to listen to us, and we appreciate that. I learned a ton, guys. You're going to learn a ton. Tune in, listen up, get acquainted.
Jeff, this interview is long overdue. We've been looking forward to doing this for, I don't know, a year and a half?
Yeah, it's been I
2 years?
I know at least months for sure.
At least months for sure. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get started on just an easy one, which is why are you better than Baker? No, I'm just kidding. What's Spring Big?
So SpringBig is a software as a service platform that provides retail dispensaries, so cannabis dispensaries across the country with the ability to use our software to design and manage their customer loyalty programs. And then through that process, we pull in all of their customer data and we give them the ability to segment that data so they could be more targeted regarding their messaging. They could be focused on who they want to message in particular, what they want to say, when they want to say it, how they want to say it. So it's a combination of a loyalty platform along with a sophisticated messaging platform, digital messaging platform, meaning SMS, MMS, and email.
So like I alluded to, there is a pretty big competitor in the space. And beyond that, this is not a new concept among other industries too.
100%.
The idea of loyalty, 5 stars comes to mind
Sure.
in technology. But I guess tell me a little bit of that story and why you felt there needed to be another entrant into the market.
So when we originally started SpringBig, we actually started it not for the cannabis industry. We started it for the small business industry. So we were competing with companies like 5 Stars, where we developed a tablet-based solution. So think about a digital punch card, where you had tablets on the counter, similar to what 5 Stars does. You typed in your phone number, you got a punch, and then after X amount of punches, you got a reward from that store. So we originally created it for that purpose, to go after the pizza shops, the yogurt shops, the nail salons, the hair salons. So we built the technology, we started marketing it, we had some initial success, but what we found after doing it for a bit is that there were 2 big hurdles. So the first hurdle was the average monthly subscription price was not that high. It was about $100 to $200 a month. So
Yep.
we quickly did the math and said, wow, if we're going to make this a real business, we're going to have 10, 15,000 customers on it.
Which is unrealistic, right?
Yeah, which is unrealistic in the time frame that I was willing to do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to make this successful in my lifetime. So it was unrealistic in that time frame. But in addition to that, most of the time in these types of businesses, the owners are not in the stores very much. the service people are in the stores. So, when you go buy yogurt, you're normally not dealing with the owner. Every once in a while you might be, but most of the time you're dealing with service people, and the owner comes in a few hours a week. So we also found it difficult to get to the decision makers in those stores, in those types of accounts. So at the end of 2000, and we started SpringBig in 2014, but at the end of 2016, we were kind of debating what to do. And we made a decision that we were going to pivot to cannabis. Why? Because two of our, few hundred clients were cannabis retailers, and we saw that they were spending probably 10 to 15 times the average because they were using our platform so much more to communicate via text message to their customers. So we looked at it. I happen to have invested in a cannabis business a couple of years before. I actually went to the people that were running that business, asked them what they thought of the opportunity of us pivoting into cannabis. They thought it made a lot of sense. They did bring up Baker at the time. They said there's one player in the space.
What year was this?
End of 2016.
Okay.
But they said there's definitely room for another entry into the market. So, we took our holiday break. We came back, and beginning of 2017, we completely pivoted to cannabis. We made a decision that we were going full throttle within the cannabis industry. We thought it was a good opportunity for a number of reasons. One, the businesses were bigger. Two, the managers in the store had more decision-making capability. So we felt it was going to be easier to sell. I had come from the loyalty industry, so we understand loyalty really, really well here. So we felt that we could build a better mousetrap, and we went at it. So, fast forward. So now we're almost 3 years into this, just about 3 years into this, and we're now the leader in the space. We have more accounts, more doors than anyone else that's doing this.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think you've
I
got
think it's a combination of, number one, I think, as I mentioned, we were loyalty experts who came into the cannabis space and basically just created again what we did before. So it's not like we had to learn, all of the components and all of the elements of how to create the proper loyalty software, how to create.
Yeah, you knew how to do that.
We knew how to do it already. So that was one. And I think the other issue is that, we have my co-founder, our CTO, who was with me at my prior company. He really understood the technology side. And, we have our product team that really understood it. So bottom line is, I think we built a better mousetrap, meaning we have a better platform that works much better. And second, we have a very, very aggressive and disciplined approach to customer support, where we want to make sure that our clients are happy. We want to make sure that they're leveraging the platform, that they're optimizing it, that they're getting the most value from it. And we're very much on top of servicing our clients. So I think the combination of a great product with great service, allowed us to grow the way we've grown.
Talk about the product a little bit. How does it differ? Why is it better?
So I think one of the key elements that differentiates our platform from anyone else in the industry is we're integrated on a real-time basis with 17 of the industry's point-of-sale systems. So probably every big point-of-sale name in the industry we're integrated with on a transaction basis, real-time. So what that means is that we have the ability to eliminate all tablets in the stores to capture the transaction that the customer is making to give them their points. We do have a tablet application that is available for customers to enroll, because now with everything that's going on regarding texting and making sure that you have proper consent to text a customer, we have applications that allow the retailer to get the right kind of consent from the customer so they can text them, so they're not texting them without that consent. But beyond that, all of the information, all the data that we collect, and the whole process is seamless and behind the scenes, where the customer goes into the store, they make their purchase, and as soon as they transact, and as soon as the POS records that transaction, we in real time get that transaction. So we, in milliseconds, give them their points, and then we go ahead and send them a thank you message for visiting, letting them know how many points they had. So one of the big differences of our platform versus any others in the industry are these integrations and these real-time integrations that eliminate the need for tablets for this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The other big difference in our platform when it comes to loyalty is we've created, think about your Starbucks app. We've created a customized individual rewards wallet. So every customer has their own, think about digital wallet where they have the ability to view it at any time. They receive it with a link after every visit where they could see how many points they have. They could see how close they are to each reward. They could view any offers that are available to them. They have the ability to check out the store's online menu through that wallet. So
Pretty
and that
robust.
wallet is the way
Pretty
to engage
robust.
that customer, outside of the store. It's,
Mm-hmm.
every other loyalty program that's out there right now in this industry, you have to be engaging with it in the store. We're the only loyalty program that allows the customer to engage with it outside the store.
And why do you think that is? I mean, that's such an obvious, I've actually talked about this idea with so many startups, but it's such an obvious transition, right? Like, how do you get them at home too? Why do you think no one else has tackled that?
I think it comes down to every company has kind of like a long list of priorities and what they have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more experienced you are in whatever you're doing, how to set those priorities possibly different than someone who's coming into the industry and has a little less experience doing it. It's not a knock against our competition, by the way. I think our competition is tough. We fight every day to win business, and I have the utmost respect for all of our competitors. But at the end of the day, I think we came into this kind of having a blueprint of exactly what we wanted to do and how we wanted to get it done. And we started right away with the wallet. We started right away with the POS integrations because we understood that, eliminating friction, both for retail staff and for customers, was going to be huge in terms of winning business and keeping business. So we focused on that. And then on top of that, our messaging platform, we've developed proprietary technology to make sure the maximum percentage of messages that are being sent out actually get delivered into the smartphone. We have unique technology that's different than anybody else's out there. So we deliver messages at a much higher rate than our competitors. And in addition to that, we have a lot of different segmentation because we're pulling in all this data from the point of sale. So we have a segment based on average ticket. We have a segment based on spend over a period of time. We have a segment based on the brands people buy, the categories people buy. We have a segment based on the time of day that they shop. So we have all these different segments. So when a retailer's thinking about, okay, I want to get this message to this group of people, we give them probably the best chance of getting that message to their desired group because of our segmentation. And our segmentation is all built from the data that the store is already collecting. It's their data. It's not our data.
So they retain the data.
Oh, they own the data. Absolutely. We're not, we're using the data to help them make more money. So we're basically, when that data passes to us.
Where is that data stored?
Oh, it's stored with us, obviously. So, it's stored in the cloud. So we basically have the ability to store it and obviously keep it safe from a data protection and privacy.
And is this a hot button issue for your customers, or they're not that aware?
We from time to time we get the question of, where's my data stored? How are you protecting it? What's your privacy policies? What's your encryption policy? So, and that that's where I think, we kind of stand out because, in our past,
because you have all the right answers to that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, our past company. We used to do this for guys like Citibank, Chubb Insurance, Party City. So
yeah, I mean, I come from technology, so my whole 20s was in technology in San Francisco, and yeah, I mean, selling software can be hard, but if you get it right, you can get it really right.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
which is exciting. I've been really looking forward to this episode because I saw you hit 10 million customers served. Which is
we're
a big number.
We're at over 13 million now.
13 million, which is roughly, it's got to be like a quarter, 25% of
I would think
national market share.
Yeah, I would think so.
Where do those numbers come from? How do you? Is that just like?
I think I'm not. It's a it's a bit. All I know is I can't tell you for sure. It's a gut feel what percentage it is, but what I do know, it's a big number.
Yeah, but I mean, even the 13 million number, where does that come from?
Oh, so it's coming from our clients, right? So
Mhm.
when a client like let's pick GTI, Green Thumb Industries, they've been a client of ours for over 2 years.
Mhm.
They, every consumer that enrolls in their loyalty program is stored in our database. So they have a lot of customers. So they have a lot of customers. Harborside is a client. They have a lot of customers. We have, we're very good at going after selling and servicing bigger clients, bigger opportunities. That's our
Mhm.
sweet spot. That's what
Mhm.
we really know how to do. So we have the majority of the larger clients out there. So the Harvests of the world, the Crescos of the world, the GTIs of the world, the
Mhm.
Holistics of the world, the
And how
Vireos of
many
the
of
world,
these
the
did
Cares.
you convert from other softwares? Baker.
I think probably I would say most. I
Mhm.
would say most. I don't have an exact number, but most. I think, Baker, Baker was one where, Baker was very involved with their whole integration with Tilt. And I think they had a lot of other things that they were thinking about. So they weren't as focused on
Mhm.
continuing to enhance the product offering as they probably would have if they were maintained as a standalone company. So
Mhm.
I think it gave us an opportunity, gave us an in and a wedge to go in and kind of show the differences between what our platform did and theirs. And then
Mhm.
there's some other companies that are newer entrants into the market, newer competitors where, again, listen, we're watching our competition all the time and making sure that we're continuing to provide a best in class product and best in class service. So
Mhm.
the but I think the integrations are huge. We really know how to integrate with point of sale companies and
Yeah,
e-commerce
no, the
companies.
integrations are amazing. I mean, they
Yeah,
make it go from like, I need to spend 3 months and a development team integrating this to like, no, it just works right now.
right.
And that's
Yeah,
a
for sure.
big difference for someone I
For
usually
sure.
sell software. So
Okay.
anyway, but the other reason I've been really looking forward to this episode is because very rarely do entrepreneurs, or what I affectionately call entrepreneurs, get an opportunity um, to see such a case study as SpringBig and Baker, and whether they did the right thing,
Right.
because they joined Tilt. I know that they got some money up front. They got a lot of paper in the back end. Joel's been on this show. No shade. He's a really smart guy. I like him a lot, and the whole team over there. But you didn't do that. I'm sure you had opportunities for RTOs and whether to, become a public company or join some other conglomerate of public companies. Did they do the right thing? Are you happy with your decision?
Oh, I'm thrilled with our decision. I think our approach is that we have a game plan. We want to build this business according to our game plan, and obviously we have outside investors, right? So an exit is definitely part of the game plan, but we want to implement that exit at the right point of the game plan, and I feel like when we implement the exit, we want to implement it as a lot of traditional, tech SaaS startups do, right? They sell to somebody. That's the game plan, right? So we want to, we don't know when that time is exactly going to be. We feel it's somewhere in the next 2 to 3 years where will be the right time for that. It could come sooner than that, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we'd love to continue what we're doing, but we'd love to continue what we're doing at the right time, being part of something bigger that gives us more reach, more resources, etc. So I think that's always been the plan,
Mhm.
and that's what we that's what we communicated and sold our investors on, and
Yep.
and that's what
And
we
what's the
plan to
timeline
do.
there? What kind of timeline did you sell those
So I think, as I
investors?
mentioned, 2 to 3 years, probably two to
Uh-huh.
three years, we
Uh-huh.
think would be the right time frame. Where
Got it. And
we
is
we
there a
just
certain number?
surpassed.
Is there a KPI that you guys are looking to, a revenue
Yeah,
number
well, we
or
just
something?
surpassed 11 million in annual recurring revenue this past month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so we did that. We're supposed to, our plan is to exceed 30 million in annual recurring revenue by the end of a year from now. So, our plan is to execute that. We're introducing a new brand platform, which is going to provide brands the ability to market directly to consumers. as well. So we're launching that next month, and we want to build that up and make sure that we're seeing the success that we anticipate there as well. So I think we're gonna revisit this whole piece probably a year from now, but right now we have our marching orders for 2020.
Cool. Well, that's exciting, man. I mean, there's such clarity in your vision, and I think that's a rarity among startups, but particularly cannabis startups, unfortunately. As you know, it's tough times in the cannabis industry today.
Right.
And a lot of people are getting fired. A lot of people aren't getting paid. There's a very small number of winners from the first go around, I would say. Are you feeling that? I think that the software companies were insulated from it for some time. But at some point now that, and maybe I'm just speaking too specifically about California, other states probably are doing better with their cost structures and taxes, but at least in California, which is a country in itself, people aren't getting paid.
No, I think
I was meeting with a sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. No, please.
I was meeting with a software founder last night, successful company. I will remain nameless, and they're not getting paid. And I just wonder, you guys have raised more money. You've raised a lot of money, which helps. But are you getting paid?
Yeah, so we are getting paid. It's definitely something to watch. What's happening right now, that at least from what I see, there are a lot of places, especially with certain states going adult use, right? There are a lot of priorities of where they need to deploy their capital. And I'm talking primarily about the manufacturers, the growers, the retailers. They have to deploy their capital to beef up and be ready for adult use. There's a lot of different places. So we definitely we're getting paid. Yes, we see some retailers trying to stretch us out a little bit. So, about 70%, 65 to 70% of our billings get paid by credit card on the day that they're due. So, but we have about 35% where we give terms to, because the industry is changing. You still have a lot of 1, 2, 3 shop chains, but you have more and more chains that are becoming big corporations now, where they have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 stores. So, those kinds of companies don't put a credit card on your system and say, here you go. Although I marvel at companies like Twilio that have the ability to get that done. It's
my God. One of my favorite companies in the world.
It doesn't matter how big of a company you are. Yeah. You put a credit card on their system, or you don't do it, or you don't get the service. So it's kind of interesting.
Right. Or Stripe, same way, right?
Yeah, Stripe's the same way. So we are giving terms to about 35% of our revenue. About 35% of our revenue is termed, and we give 30-day terms. And we have some clients that like to stretch us out, and but at least, lucky for us, we hold a pretty important card, because if they don't pay us within a reasonable amount of time, we will turn off their access to the system. So so why that's important, for some that may or may not be important, why that's important for them in regards to us, is if we turn off that system, they can't text their customers tomorrow's promotion.
It's mission critical.
It's mission critical. So us and POS systems are pretty mission critical.
I used to sell delivery software to dispensaries. So On Fleet, shout out On Fleet, still really good friends of mine. And I mean, if you can't make deliveries as a delivery weed company, you got problems.
Yeah. So we do, and we watch it, and it's a bit frustrating, but I have to remember, I got to step back and remember that, every company is trying to optimize, their capital. They're trying to figure out how to make it go as far as it can go. And listen, everybody will, some people will pay right on time. Some people will push to the limit. And our job for those companies that are pushing to the limit is making sure that we hold them accountable and we get paid. So we don't really have a receivables problem. We don't have a bad debt problem. So it's better, but we're watching it. It's something we watch very carefully. It's a great point.
It's a good answer. I'm owed some money. Anyway, So
well, we don't owe you any money, do you? Do we?
no, you don't owe me anything,
Okay.
man. So because you're in Florida,
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you about True Leave.
Okay.
I love their company. I've owned it for a long time. I also own Tilt, so you know how that's going.
Okay.
And True Leave in California, it's kind of this like mystical unicorn,
Right.
like this company that's making money.
Mm-hmm.
They have such a stronghold on Florida and now growing into other states. Give us your thoughts on True Leave. I mean, and Kim,
Truly is a winner. We would love for them to be a client.
uh-huh.
We're not fortunate enough yet to be working with
Do you
them.
know what they use? Do you know what they use?
We do. I'm not. Our salesperson knows what they use.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but we're big admirers of that company. I think that they're very focused. They're very strategic, and they're smart operators. So
Have you met Kim? Have you met her?
no, I have not met Kim. I would love to meet Kim.
Me too. I've been trying to get her on the show. I'm having a campagn to get Kim on the show.
So, by the way, let me know if she comes on the show. I'll come visit you at the studio.
Well, you should have come to the studio anyway, man. We have fun out here in California.
I am sure. I hear great things about Kim as a leader, and I think they're doing great. I mean, they're definitely one of the winners. I think GTI's definitely going to be one of the winners. Cresco's one of the winners. There are a bunch of winners out there, and
there are.
But True Leave is definitely one of the winners, and they're doing great stuff. They're admired by their competitors a lot. We hear from their competitors how well they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I want to take a little step back and just talk about a few cannabis topics. You're fortunate enough to talk to a lot of different cannabis companies in all different kinds of markets and states, and I think that's a fairly unique perspective. Let's talk about some big industry topics here. Give us your thoughts on VapeGate.
So we have obviously there's been a lot of publicity around it, and we have not seen, at least from our view, from the clients that we work with, that it has affected them in a material way. Because I think what happened, even if consumers were nervous to buy vape-related products, there are other categories of products to buy. So I think what happened was they just switched the categories that they were purchasing. I think for the vape companies, it was a big deal. But I don't necessarily, and it may have been for certain retailers that have different margin differences between different product categories. It may have been a little bit of a deal, but we didn't, because of that crisis, we didn't see a slowdown in clients signing up with us. We didn't see a slowdown in clients spending money with us. So it didn't affect us. I know it definitely affected the category of the vape companies, but it didn't affect us. And I don't know if it affected the retailers materially either.
I think that's good perspective. How about yourself? Are you afraid of vaping? Do you vape?
No, I don't vape. So it wasn't something that I was personally connected to. So
right.
Because I'm not a vaper.
How about cannabis of any kind? Are you interested or no?
I do not. I am not in. Yeah,
you're a software dude. I respect.
I'm a software dude. You got it.
So the black market in California is wreaking havoc.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, estimates of 60-80% of cannabis sold as black market in California. And I just wonder how that impacts your business of any kind, or I guess more broadly, how much of a problem is this other places too? The show tends to be overly California centric because Californians are elitist and arrogant. But anyway, is this happening other places? And
I think it happens in other adult use markets, right? So, so I think it happens in Washington. It's interesting in Washington. I think there's a small phenomenon in Washington where black market resellers will actually go, when there's special deals, they'll go to the stores, they'll buy the product and resell it to their customers on the black market. It's so strange that we've heard of that happening. California is unique just because California, as you said, it's a country on its own.
It's a country,
and the state says one thing, and then the county can decide what they want to do, and the city can then decide what they want to do, and there's just such a misunderstanding of really the way it's supposed to work, that you have openings, wedges for the black market resellers to really take advantage of that. They haven't figured out the tax system correctly yet.
Oh my God, it's insane.
So
you can go to MedMen. I live in Venice Beach. You can go to MedMen here, which is a big, beautiful store. I'm not sure who decided we needed an Apple store for cannabis, but they did it. And you walk in there, and I walked out, and after taxes and everything, I bought a really good eighth. Fig Farms, shout out to Fig Farms. Great indoor stuff. Is $80. And of course, I don't buy $80 eighths all the time, but just think about that, like that's a big number. And I know, I'm in West LA and it's whatever, but still $80 is a lot.
Probably on the black market, it would probably cost you 50.
35,
35, yeah,
$40. Yeah,
it's a big deal.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Yeah. No, I think states are going to have to get that right. I think states, it's like, do you want a smaller piece of a much bigger pie, or do you want a bigger piece of a smaller pie? And right now, California.
You said it, man.
Yeah, California is behaving like they want a bigger piece of a smaller pie. That's
there's a lot of people. And I guess I've thought about this from time to time on whether there's some sort of conspiracy against cannabis, both California or nationally. Like, are they intentionally making it hard for folks? But the more that I learn and talk and listen to people, because that's the whole goal of this show, is I just learn stuff, is they're just incompetent. It's not that they're trying to fuck over cannabis. It's just that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's such a, I don't want to get too political, but it's such a commentary and a perfect example of why big government sucks.
It's similar to alcohol, but it's different than alcohol. And, people like in the state of Washington, the commission is the Alcohol and Cannabis Commission. So we have a big market share in Washington, so we have a good idea of what's going on. And the commission drives the retailers nuts. They drive them crazy. And in California too, they just make it so hard for these guys to open up and do business. It's just too big. It will change, right? Because I think this is still so new, and people are still trying to figure it out. And the government guys are also still trying to figure it out. But you're right, they're slow moving, and they're not the sharpest tools in the shed, and they're just
uninformed.
And we're seeing the result of that.
They're just uninformed. And look, this is obviously self-serving, but they should just listen to this show. I feel like they would make better decisions if they just listened to some podcasts.
100%.
It's so ridiculous.
We're doing well in California. I mean, we have a big presence in California, and
how could you not?
We probably have over 300 doors in California.
And how many are there today? Like 500 or 600?
I think about 500. Yeah.
But a lot of them are tiny. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Well, they're tiny. There's still a semblance, much less now. There's still a semblance of some gray market guys, but it's not nearly the same.
I shouldn't say they don't matter. I just, from a software sales perspective,
right.
They're very small versus the resources.
Yeah, but it happens to be the newer stores that are opening up. Northern California is much more mature, but the newer stores that are opening up in Southern California, your neck of the woods, are nice. They're going after it. They're nice. They're new. They're fresh.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money behind them now.
It's wild down here. I lived in San Francisco for 9 years. And so I saw that whole growth. And then I came here I live in Venice Beach, and it's wild again. It's Wild West in LA in cannabis. Northern California is much more settled down.
Right. But if you look at the stores that have opened up for business in the last 6 to 9 months,
they're really nice.
They're the real deal.
Yeah,
they're the real deal.
They're nice.
For sure.
Sure. When I say Wild West, I just mean there's a lot of movers and shakers. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Oh,
You got Lowell's that's getting indicted for this and that. Like, it's, they got the Cannabis Cafe, Lowell's Cannabis Cafe. Then it's not the Lowell's Cannabis Cafe. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. But Anyway, man, this has been so fun. Thank you for joining us.
No,
You've
thank
been
you.
so open and honest, and I always appreciate that. How can we help you? How can are you trying to hire anybody? Whatever you want to plug. This is your.
We are always looking for high quality people. So we're always looking for, the number one need we always have is, computer engineers. We have more computer engineering work than we have the opportunity to get done right now. So any computer engineers out there that are listening that want to enjoy South Florida, Jeffrey at SpringBig.com, send me an email, give me a call. Would love to talk to you. And we're also always looking for great marketing people. So those are from a people standpoint.
What kind of marketing? Like digital marketing or creative
digital
marketing?
marketing, promotional marketing people. So
Cool.
Those are like the two main areas that we're focused on right now in hiring. So that
How
would always
big's
be
the
great.
team today?
We have about 55 people here.
Oh, nice. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
I'll
so
have to
about
come out
55.
there sometime.
That would be great. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
And no, thank you for the opportunity as well. It's always great to be able to chat with people that really know what's going on and have a good feel for what's happening. It's a crazy industry we're in. It's like, as I mentioned to people, I will not get this opportunity again in my lifetime. To participate in something that has basically been born and is growing, right in front of me. It's just
well, I feel 100% the same way. It's nice of you to say, and I feel the same way. I mean, I just feel lucky to be alive right now because of what's going on. But don't be surprised, my friend, if you're involved in another sort of kind of revolution, some other industry.
That would be
cool.
long
way to go. There's a
that would be
long
cool.
way to go in life.
That would be cool.
There's a long way to go. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs that listen to this show. You've had a lot of businesses. You've talked to a lot of other entrepreneurs, seen a lot of businesses come and go. Give just one piece of advice. Give a little bit of advice to somebody young listening to this, starting their first business.
I would say follow your passion. We're always much more effective when we're really excited and enjoying what we're doing. So follow your passion. And then once you figure out what that passion is, build the plan and stick to the plan, and don't get distracted. I think it's so easy to get distracted. There's so many opportunities to get distracted. And I think, be passionate about what you do and build a straightforward plan and stick to it, and don't get distracted. That would be my advice.
That's good advice. Well, Jeff, thanks so much, man. It's been fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.